His name is Kotaro. He will never forget what happened 5 years ago. This boy had a friendship with some cool kids. However, they were mocking him all the time. Of course, he never liked it. Akira Mikazuki, the strongest one. Oborozuki Kanai, the basketball genius, and Manjiro Shigure, the genius of video games. Kotaro never won a single match against them. But it might not be that bad if, well, yes, there was his neighbor, Mizuki. And she was always protecting him from the kids. He felt really bad every time she was doing that, so he was forced to promise to never lose to them anymore. Childhood, that was a long time ago. Now Hinode Kotaro is an adult guy. He was still remembering those guys that were bullying him. He wanted to take revenge on them. He didn't notice he accidentally started speaking out his thoughts. He apologized for that and left the classroom. I should say that he is kinda popular nowadays. Kotaro was the best student in this school. His results on exams were amazing. And yes, he came to his bully's school to carry out his revenge plan. The most difficult thing would be to recognize them after that long time. 5 years could change their look a lot. He was walking down the hall and suddenly someone put hand on his shoulder. He turned around and saw a girl. She had a playful nature, and it seemed that she liked him. A new student looked very interesting to her, but Kotaro was confused and she started talking to him for no reason. Well, she already knew he was a smart guy, so it wasn't hard to find him. The guy with the best exam result in this school. She was going to show him everything. Kotaro felt shy since this girl was acting really strange to him. Then he looked at her body and was very surprised. She had such nice abs. Would better to say, it looked pretty good for a girl. Other guys were staring at them. How was this loser-kun guy supposed to attract the attention of one of the best girls in this school? Then Kotaro heard them say that this girl had won the National Wrestling Championship. And then something clicked in his head. He remembered his friend named Akira. He was the strongest boy. Could it be real he wasn't a boy all this time? Kotaro asked the girl's name and got an answer that totally blew up his mind. She actually was Akira. And she wanted to do a little trolling with Kotaro, but it seemed that her plan failed because of those guys talking too much. But anyway, Kotaro's reaction was looking pretty funny. He couldn't believe he was thinking all this time that Akira was a boy. Then 2 beautiful girls suddenly appeared here. As you can guess, the blonde girl was named Kane, the professional basketball player, and the second one was Manjiro, the professional gamer. Long time no see, Kotaro-kun. Something just broke in his mind at that moment. That was just a joke, right? Unfortunately, it wasn't. They were glad to mock him for another time for being an idiot. Well, it was his fault that he never had asked them about that. Well, they weren't mad at him or something like that. They still were best friends. Kotaro was just watching them arguing. Was it just a dream? Then suddenly someone's voice addressed Kotaro. It was a teacher he saw for the first time, but it looked like he was familiar with Kotaro. Somehow this teacher recognized Kotaro, but Kotaro couldn't recognize him at all. So then the unknown guy tried to remind him of something. The teacher told him his name, Mizuki Akatsuki. Wait, what the hell? Was he actually a boy all this time? No way. At that moment, Kotaro went crazy. That was totally absurd. The girls were wondering if Kotaro forgot that he wanted to take revenge on them. Well, it may be good. The same day in school, Kotaro's old friends wanted to get him for a walk today. They really wanted to spend their time with him. However, they didn't see him in their classroom. Suddenly, Mizuki-sensei entered the classroom. He immediately noticed them looking for Kotaro-kun. He thought they're gonna bully him as always, but the girls said they never had bad intentions towards Kotaro-kun, but Mizuki-sensei knew they were always laughing at him, so they may not have changed at all, even if it was 5 years ago. But the girls never thought that Kotaro-kun was offended by them. For example, Shigure Mangaru was always winning against him in fighting games. Kotaro looked very pitiful playing with her, but Shigure just wanted to surprise him with her gamer skills. She had no bad intentions towards Kotaro. Mizuki-sensei offered to apologize to Kotaro for being that rude in the past. Other girls just laughed. They expected something like that from Shigure. Then Mizuki got angry at them and reminded them about some confusing situations that happened between them and Kotaro. For example, Akira was always beating him up, and she was doing that the most cruel way. What about Kane? She was always beating him up too, but in basketball, she forced him to take his clothes off every time she wins, and it was also cruel. Akira tried to argue, but they all knew that it was true. Kanai was kind of calm, and she didn't feel guilty for what she was doing with Kotaro in the past. Mizuki told them to not talk with Kotaro anymore, but then Kotaro appeared here by himself. He told Mizuki to not interfere in their relationships. Kotaro actually thought that all the things they did to him in the past weren't that bad as Mizuki thought. Moreover, he was enjoying a lot with them. But why did he come here? Of course, he still wanted to take a rematch against them all. He wanted to compete with them in the same games with the same rules. It really surprised them all. Akira just realized he was going to do the same to them if he would win. Kotaro was mad and was going to destroy them with no mercy. He just imagined how fun it would be to see them taking off their clothes. Well, for them it was more like a present than a punishment. Akira was so excited that she couldn't wait anymore and asked him to start right now. However, Kotaro made an excuse and said he can't do it right now since he was a bit busy. He wanted to talk with his beloved girl. At that moment, all the girls were shocked. Kotaro-kun has a girlfriend? What? Kotaro said he met her in Tokyo and it was love from the first glance. He told them she is a cute and funny person. He always feels good while spending time with her. The girls had no words to say. Then Kotaro told them to prepare for tomorrow and left the classroom. They wanted to say something else, but it was too late. He left them alone with their thoughts. Akira was trying to hold back her tears. She loved Kotaro and he just said that he has a girlfriend. It was such a painful feeling. Shigure was upset too, and only Kanai was still in a fighting mood. She realized that her sweatshirt didn't work on Kotaro. Shigure asked what she meant by that. Kanai said that she just didn't want to give up that fast. Akira asked if she really didn't care about Kotaro's girlfriend. And yes, she didn't care at all. Besides, it was motivation for her. Motivation to get this boy no matter what. Her love was very strong and maybe even stronger than anyone else. Akira and Shigure realized what she wanted to do. Then their morale rose up and they were going to continue this epic competition for Kotaro's heart. Mizuki-sensei tried to stop Kotaro, but Kotaro didn't want to talk with him now. Mizuki-sensei just was very surprised that Kotaro was acting like an adult man despite his current age. Kotaro thought Mizuki was one of those who bullied him 5 years ago. However, this guy or girl didn't think so. He offered Kotaro to check his sex right now. Well, Kotaro didn't want to do that, so he refused. Mizuki-sensei actually wanted to figure out who that girlfriend Kotaro was talking about. Kotaro described her as a very beautiful and cute girl. She was also a demon lord's daughter. Wait, demon lord? What did he say just now? And when Kotaro showed him his phone, he saw her. Yes, Kotaro fell in love with VTuber. Mizuki-sensei was totally confused. This guy literally was watching every one of her streams and chatting with her. Well, it might be normal nowadays. Kane was one of the most popular girls in her school. She was a vice president here, and she is also Tsukimi Concern's daughter. Besides, she was looking pretty nice and all the boys wished to be at least her friend. Well, it was only in their dreams. They had 0 chances. Then the class chief appeared. He thanked Kanai for help. She also did a very good job in the student council. She didn't show any emotion and just said, "It's all right. I should tell you that the class chief was also a very popular guy. All the girls liked him. They were glad to see the most popular girl meeting the most popular guy. They wished these two would get in a good relationship." Then suddenly someone loudly addressed Kanai. It was Kotaro-kun. He invited her to play basketball today, and he was going to do it as in old times. The one who loses takes off his clothes one by one. The boys were mad at him, talking rudely to the school princess. Well, they didn't know this cute girl was the one who made these game rules. Then Kotaro ran away and said to her to not give up that easily. The class chief was shocked by Kotaro's behavior. How this scum dared to talk to her like that. But to his surprise, Kenny told him it's all right. She smiled. It totally confused him. He never saw her smile before. That was strange. Well, love can do everything to anything. Of course, Kane couldn't ignore Kotaro's challenge and came to the sports hall. Kotaro chose the best time for their game. There were no people, so they could do whatever they wanted. She wanted to remind him about the rules, but Kotaro already knew it very well. Kanai accepted his challenge, and to make it easier for him, she took off her jacket. Kotaro was so excited. He couldn't wait for the start. He already started flexing with the basketballs to show he was super ready to face her in this fight. So, what kind of rules did they have to follow? Well, it's simple. The one who puts the ball in the hoop from the furthest line gets 3 points. Then the one who did that takes off one part of his clothes. The first round has started, and from the first moment Kanei takes the ball and moves to Kotaro's hoop. He didn't expect her to be that fast, and then she jumped high and threw the ball right in the target. Easy win. Kotaro really underestimated her. Now he needs to take off his jacket. What a shame. He got embarrassed that she was staring at him that close. She honestly told him she finds this game kinda erotic. Now Kotaro wanted to take off all her clothes. Of course he needed to win the next round for that. Then Kotaro took the ball and started moving fast to Kanai's hoop. She tried to stop him, but it was too late. She didn't expect him to throw a fadeaway. Strike. The ball got right into the target. He mocked her a bit for being that careless. At that moment, she realized this guy was way different from that little boy she remembered when they were kids. Then she took off her shirt and Kotaro lost his mind. He was really embarrassed and couldn't stop looking at her. And it was her plan. She was wearing an erotic clothes to distract the opponent's attention. What a dirty trick. But it was working very well. Kotaro didn't expect her to be that crazy. So they have to continue the match. Kanai took the ball, and Kotaro couldn't get closer to her now as before. There was no boy in the world that could compete with such a beautiful girl who took off her clothes. Kotaro lost his confidence and now he wasn't sure if he would win this match. Kotaro lost all his advantage. He started losing hard. He was forced to take off his shirt. What a shame. Then she was going to give him a chance and started taking off her skirt. Kotaro told her to stop since he didn't win yet. So they continued playing. But Kotaro accidentally lost his balance and before he fell on the floor, he had thrown the ball. Thank God it got right into the hoop. Well, it wasn't a 3-point strike, but also was great. Then Kanae said it actually was a 3-point strike and was about to take off her skirt. Kotaro tried to stop her. He argued that it wasn't a 3-point at all. Then he blamed her for playing an unfair game. She just wanted to take off all her clothes. Well, when she took off her skirt, there were no reasons to continue arguing, so Kotaro just turned a blind eye to that. But while he was talking, she took the ball and started moving towards his hoop. That was fast. He tried to not let her throw the ball and accidentally touched another ball. He was so sorry about that. But it seemed like she didn't mind at all. This situation made her blush. Kanae realized she felt embarrassed. Would better to say she didn't expect that strange reaction from herself. Then suddenly someone opened the door and rushed into the hall. It was the class chief. He was shocked by what he saw. He started yelling at Kotaro for being such a dirty pervert scum and ordered him to go away. Kanae tried to protect Kotaro and take all the guilt on herself, but he just said it was true and headed to the entrance. Kanae tried to stop him. The class chief started talking trash about Kotaro. Kanae couldn't ignore that and got really angry at him for these words. How could he dare to insult her favorite boy? The class chief didn't understand why she was so angry. And right before leaving the hall, Kotaro threw the ball and got a 3-point shot. After that, he laughed since their scores became equal. Kanae was very surprised. The chief had no words to say. Then Kotaro said goodbye words and left her alone with her thoughts. She felt it was just like in old times. When they were kids, Kotaro always was losing to Kanae. He had 0 chances against her in this game. Then suddenly, a man in a tuxedo addressed Kanae. It was her father. He didn't like she was fooling around while she should have been in school. She wanted to argue, but, well, what a kid can do against his parents. Other children knew Kanae was from a rich family and they never could understand her. And because of that, Kanae had no friends. Children just didn't want to play with her. Kanae was about to leave, but suddenly someone grabbed her shirt. It was Kotaro. He was crying from his weakness and asked her for a rematch. Her father wasn't glad to see him here. Besides that, he had no clothes for some reason. But Kotaro didn't want to give up and told her they must play again another day. Kanae remembered it and laughed. She was laughing a lot. Kotaro-kun hadn't changed at all. The class chief couldn't believe his eyes. Kanae-san was smiling. What? Was it just a miracle? Well, love can do miracles. Then she ran up to Kotaro to say something. He thought she was about to offer him to continue the match. However, she was going to take off the last part of her clothes since he did a 3-point shot. Kotaro realized this girl was absolutely crazy and started begging her to stop. He wanted her to calm down, but well, it was hard to stop her burning heart. 2 boys were talking about girls. They were trying to choose the most beautiful girl in their school. And of course it was hard since there were 3 princesses. Akira, Kanae, and Shigure. These 3 girls were so beautiful that it was hard to say who the boys loved the most. And another cool fact. They all were in one classroom, in their classroom. What a luck. Meanwhile, the girls were staring at a photo with Kotaro standing naked. Akira was wondering when Kanae made this photo. Kanae was just mocking her friends for losing their ground. Akira couldn't leave it like that. She asked Shigure if she wanted to change something, but her answer made Akira feel worried. Shigure said she didn't care about that at all. Well, it was something in her style. She was always a shy girl. She is a kudere type girl. One of those who didn't show their emotions to anyone. They're always calm and patient. Kanae realized that she really loves Kotaro the most. Akira disagreed since she was sure that her love was way stronger than Kanae's. Then they suddenly heard Kotaro's voice. He fell on the ground and it seemed that he got a trauma. He was trying to learn new things in football he saw yesterday, and it looked like his plans were about to fail. The girls realized what they must do now. After some time, they met each other near the medical cabinet. They expected that they would meet here. Of course, they all were thinking the same way, and of course they prepared very well. Akira was showing her abs, and of course she started trying to make an excuse. Then Shigure noticed that the weather was too cold for these hot clothes Kanae had put on herself. Kanae pretended she didn't understand what Shigure was talking about. Well, she was the one who didn't change her look, so she had all the rights to shame her friends. She was about to enter the cabinet, but the girls didn't let her do that. They were sure she was hiding something behind her jacket. They tried to take it off her, and there was nothing interesting. What a boredom. Kanae and Akira started thinking that Shigure didn't really want to get in a relationship with Kotaro-kun. These words made her feel angry. It wasn't like that at all. She said she always plays with herself thinking about Kotaro-kun all day, maybe 2 or even 3 times in a row. Well, the girls couldn't hold back their shock. First, they tried to avoid these thoughts, but Shigure confirmed her words. And after that, a shy girl they knew all this time just became a crazy, perverted woman in one moment. Well, they should have expected that turn of events. Shigure felt embarrassed. She better not said that. While they were arguing, Kotaro woke up. He didn't understand what was happening outside, but it was too loud. Kotaro's classmate was worried for Kotaro's mental health. He was staring at his beloved VTuber all the time. Kotaro was absolutely serious, and it scared his mate even more. Meanwhile, Akira got an idea. She and other girls gathered in the classroom. They have a new mission, to figure out who Kotaro's new girlfriend is, how she looks, and what she usually does. Sad, but they had not much information about her. All they knew was that she lives in Tokyo. Shigure was upset because of that, but Akira was determined to figure it out. She raised the girls' morale, and since then they started working together. Kotaro was sitting in his place. Then here appeared Shigure. She noticed he was playing games on his phone. It looked pretty interesting for a professional video gamer. Other girls were astonished how strong their friend is. Shigure was acting too good. Then Kotaro said it was the game his girlfriend was playing a lot the last few days. Shigure immediately remembered her mission. It was time to act. She asked Kotaro if she could play for some time and just took his phone. Kotaro was surprised by that and tried to stop her, but when he saw her playing this rhythm game, he was amazed. Shigure was a true professional. He expected that from her, but no, her skills were way above his expectations. She did a super combo. So easy. Kotaro praised her gamer skills. He had never seen something like that. But Shigure straightly told him she just wanted to show him why she is way better than his girlfriend from Tokyo. Shigure was sure her plan would work. She tried to make closer contact with Kotaro, but to her surprise, he avoided her. Sad, but the first soldier came back with no information. She was really upset about that. Well, it was time for the second attempt. Kanai immediately headed to Kotaro's place and straightly asked him to talk about love. The guy that was sitting near Kotaro was very surprised. Shigure and Akira were watching them and they lost all their hope if it would end normally, but to their surprise, it was going way better. Kanai asked him straightly about the girl he liked. First, he didn't want to say anything, but then she made eye contact and told him the story about a boy she loved. It should have been a good strategy. She told Kotaro to say something since she told him her personal story. Well, her words that he wasn't a real man baited him so hard that he couldn't hold back. The girls were ready. What would he say? Kotaro said that his girlfriend has a beautiful smile that makes him happy every time he looks at her. Then Kanai said she can smile too. Isn't it actually what he wanted to see? Then she started using way more powerful weapons. She told him that her breasts are way better than his girlfriend's ones. She also noticed that he was looking at them every 6 seconds. Doesn't it mean he likes her? She didn't want to give up and offered Kotaro to touch it to check if it's natural. Well, as you can guess, Kanai's plan had failed, but she at least got some information, and it was obvious for other girls that she was jealous of that girlfriend. Kanai actually never felt that strange feeling. Well, they have the last soldier in their squad, Akira. When Kotaro left the classroom, she immediately caught him and tried to get him to talk. Well, Kotaro didn't like her unexpected appearance. He asked her what she wanted from him. She just smiled and tried to attract his attention to her today's look. When the atmosphere became calm, she asked Kotaro about his girlfriend. Shigure and Kanai were cheering for her. Well, Kotaro didn't actually want to talk about that since he was sure she would start making fun of him. But Akira convinced him there won't be anything bad if he would say it. She promised to not laugh. Well, Kotaro trusted her and told her what she wanted to hear. His girlfriend lives in Tokyo. He met her there. Since he had some problems with socialization in an unknown city, Kotaro didn't know what to do. And in this hard period of life, Kotaro met her. The girl that likes to talk about everything and there's no matter if it's stupid or useless, he just wanted to look at her. It was making him happy. It was love from the first glance. Akira was trying to hold back her tears. It's hard to listen to something like that when you actually love this person. Akira didn't want to do that, but she couldn't hold back anymore. Tears filled her eyes and she started crying when she came back to her friends. Kanai was wondering that Akira was the strongest one of them, and at the same time, she was the most feminine girl they knew. Suddenly, the classroom doors opened and Kotaro asked them what they were trying to do. He realized they were trying to gather information about his girlfriend for some reason. It was looking strange, so he was angry at them since he thought they were laughing at him. But to his surprise, their faces changed in anger. He realized he said something wrong and apologized for that. Kotatsu, one of the most popular streamers that has more than 1 million subscribers. Today she was going to play a fighting game. She was so popular because she was confident in herself and she always was trying hard in any game she was playing. But another reason was her look. She was very cute and beautiful, and for another time she won. Today's stream was about to end. Her viewers asked her why so fast this time. She answered that she was waiting for her boyfriend. These words shocked everyone. Does she really have a boyfriend? They couldn't believe it was for real. What poor guys. Well, okay. Shigure was also a streamer. As a professional video gamer, she couldn't ignore this chance to become popular, but no one actually knew how she looked in real life since she never showed her face. She was always streaming in a mask. She was a shy and quiet girl. Well, you know, if someone is shy and quiet, he might have a lot of demons inside. For some reason, she had bought some erotic clothes. Maybe there was her plan on how to catch Kotaru's heart. She really wanted to get him so she couldn't be worse than her friends in this question. Kotaru came too late. Shigure was waiting for him in her home. She offered him to play fighting games just like in old times. She offered him to sit down. Everything was ready. Finally, Kotaru could take revenge on her. He was waiting for this day a lot. Well, they also needed to think up what the one who loses must do. Kotaru offered to stand on arms as a punishment. Well, he should have expected that he would lose for the first time. Shigure didn't lose any time and took her phone to take some photos with Kotaru. She was glad to see him in that pose. And he was losing a lot. The punishments were getting more cruel, and finally, the 10th game. But Kotaru changed his strategy. He picked another character he hadn't played before. It really surprised Shigure. What is he gonna do? Well, let's see. At the start, he was running away from her. She felt her advantage. She was about to win again. However, Kotaru did such an unpredictable move and punished her for being careless during the match. At the 10th game, she finally lost. Kotaru was so happy he couldn't hold back his scream. Okay, now Kotaru was going to punish her in real life. What a sweet moment. Shigure didn't expect him to be that smart. She underestimated him, so she wanted to take a rematch. But first, he wanted a punishment. Kotaru forced her to do the same he was doing 9 previous times. Stand on your arms and dance. First, she didn't want to do that, but then she realized she had no choice. She did it. What a nice moment to see. But there was a problem she forgot about. She was wearing her new erotic clothes. What a shame. She tried to hide it by falling down, but unfortunately Kotaru was standing right above her and could see everything with his own eyes. That was bad. Well, he did it less hard for her. She could just dance in her current pose. It was still so embarrassing, but at least he won't see anything. She wasn't a fitness girl, so she tired so fast and lost her balance. Kotaru tried to save her from getting hit on the bed, but it was too late. The situation they ended up in was embarrassing. Kotaru was too close to Shigure. She could feel his breath. Maybe she can do it right now. Is it a chance given to her by God? However, she got mistaken. He was just trying to pick up a photo lying near her, but then he realized it was his photo. Photo where he was standing naked. What the hell is that? And for some reason it was wet. Well, we know what she was doing with this photo. She immediately took it off his hands. It made her blush. She tried to explain that she was just trying to imagine they were playing together to get ready for their match. Kotaru was puzzled. Why did she become so excited all of a sudden? Well, they also had to play some more times, but Shigure shouted out at him to go away. While he was wearing his shoes, he told her that he was glad to see her living well nowadays. Before, her parents were poor. They had no business, so they always had problems with money. She also was looking like a boy because she had no clothes, especially for girls. Her parents just couldn't buy it, so she was wearing her elder brother's clothes. She also had no friends. But there was a boy that started talking first to her. It was Kotaru. It was the first time he offered her to play some video games in his home. She was a really shy person, but she accepted his invitation. Her first video game experience was so cool that it won't be possible to describe her feelings at that moment. It was something she never saw, just like a dream, but there also was something more important. Kotaru. He was her first friend, so she liked to spend a lot of time with him. She still remembered those beautiful days. Not gonna lie, it was the best days in her life. Kotaru left Shigure's apartment and they said goodbye words to each other. She will be waiting for him tomorrow. She actually wanted to spend some more time with him, but well, this situation with this photo spoiled everything. She better keep her secrets in a safe place. After that, Shigure came back to streaming. She was so happy that her viewers were surprised to see a smile on her face. She ended it faster than usual, so viewers were asking her to stream some more time. However, it wasn't enough to change her mind. And it could be another good day in her life, but she forgot to turn off the stream. Total fail. She took off her mask and everyone saw her face. Her viewers continued watching her. Then Shigure took Kotaru's photo and a really strange smile appeared on her face. After that, she started doing that. Right on stream. This wasn't good. And after a few seconds, she realized that she forgot to turn off the camera. It was too late. Viewers saw everything. And this day, Shigure became way more popular than she was before that incident. Mizuki-sensei is a really popular teacher. All the students are always asking him for advice for their relationships. Girls and boys were thankful to him. He was a great guy. Then Kotaro addressed Mizuki. What does he want? Kotaro said he wanted to talk with him about something. Mizuki-sensei was glad to help him and asked what happened. Kotaro offered to talk about that in a quiet place. He didn't want to talk about that here. Mizuki was sure it was because of those girls. Were they bullying him again? When they entered the teacher's cabinet, Kotaro told him everything. He wanted to know how to be beautiful. This question kind of confused Mizuki, but Kotaro was serious. He wanted to know how to make himself look better. Well, Mizuki-sensei didn't expect him to ask such strange questions. He didn't even know if Mizuki-sensei was a boy or a girl. He actually never said that he is a boy, so Kotaro made a mistake when he asked him to help with that. He didn't know why Kotaro came here if he could just visit a stylist, but Kotaro argued that Mizuki is one of the most beautiful guys in this school. Besides, he had a good taste in fashion. Well, it changed Mizuki's mind and he was going to help him with everything he would ask about. Kotaro was surprised when Sensei said that he was going to get him a nice haircut by himself. He didn't know that Mizuki-sensei had an experience in working with people's hair. It's going to be fun and interesting, but Mizuki turned into a horny mode again and started seducing Kotaro, but Kotaro wasn't ready for that, so he told him to not be that crazy. Well, Mizuki-sensei was a playful person, so Kotaro kinda expected him to be that strange all of a sudden. Another time he tried to bait Kotaro to check his real gender, but Kotaro chose to not know this forbidden knowledge. After Kotaro left the teacher's cabinet, his look changed a lot. It would be hard to say if this guy was actually Kotaro now. He changed so much. The girls noticed him and were surprised. Kotaro was always a sloppy guy that never looked in the mirror. It was a part of his personality the girls liked a lot. That's why they didn't like to see him with a new haircut. That was bad. The more important thing now was about the person that did it to their boy. They felt angry, but it seemed that they couldn't do much about that. Well, at least his personality didn't change. Would say it was way more important for them. There was another teacher in the cabinet. He told his colleague that there was a girl that had some issues with health, so she wasn't appearing in school for the last few days. Mizuki came closer to listen to what they were talking about. And when they said that this girl is a popular VTuber named Fumi-chan, something suddenly clicked in Mizuki's head. And when he saw the screenshot, his thoughts were confirmed. Mizuki realized that the VTuber Kotaro loved so much was in this school. But who was that girl, or a guy? I really love you! This guy fell in love and tried to do his best. He really wanted to go on a date with her. First, no one understood what was going on, but then they looked better at that girl and realized everything. It was the girl who already rejected 5 guys, Akira Mikazuki, and this guy was 6. What a failure. She rudely ignored him and headed to the classroom. No one understood why she rejected the most popular guy, Kanai, in this school. Maybe she likes girls more than boys? Suddenly, a blonde girl appeared here and said it cannot be possible. It was Miho. She said she had seen her with a group of bad guys a few days ago. They were riding bikes and she came with them with no problems. It meant she wasn't as good a girl as everyone thought. But why was Kanai trying to get in contact with Akira? Maybe he just has a bad taste. No, he was in a relationship with Miho before. The girl apologized for these words. Meanwhile, Akira caught Kotaro in the school hall and offered him to fight as he wanted before. Kotaro actually thought she wouldn't come here since she got scared. Miho was surprised to see an unknown guy with Akira. The girl knew about him. Akira and this boy were friends since childhood. But they were sure that Akira wasn't dating this guy. She literally had no reason to do that. Miho smirked. She knew it's gonna be interesting. They came to the school gym. Akira was ready to beat Kotaro just like in old times. Kotaro, on the contrary, was prepared very well this time. Akira asked the instructor to be a referee. The old man didn't mind helping her with that. Well, what this man was actually thinking about at that moment. Some girls came here to watch Akira's fight too. They were sure this poor boy had no chances against Akira. She was the best here. Was he underestimating her just because she was a girl? Akira told Kotaro to be serious and not lose too easily. She was looking really serious while saying this, which surprised Kotaro. She told him the rules. If someone gets 10 scores, then he wins the match, and if someone knocks down the opponent on his back for at least 1 second, then he wins too. However, Kotaro didn't like that she wanted to make it easy for him. He wanted to play a real match with honest, standard rules. She was surprised by that. Did he really want to lose to her? But he was ready for that. Akira started yelling at him. She was sure he had no chances against her with the standard rules of fighting. Kotaro shouted out at her that he felt bad because she was giving in to him intentionally. She said she just wanted to make it more fair, but, well, she actually liked him being like that. So she agreed with his conditions and offered to talk about the most important part of their game, the punishment. The winner can use any wrestling technique on the loser. Akira liked that. She was dreaming of her defeating him again. Well, okay. They both were ready for a fight. The referee declared the start of round 1. Akira looked at Kotaro and was astonished. He took a pretty good fighting stance like he's a real fighter. It would be hard since he got stronger and she knew about that. But it didn't matter. She caught him with her special technique. Everyone was sure it's going to be the end for this poor boy. However, he wasn't as easy as everyone thought. He escaped her quickly. Akira was as surprised as the other girls. Then Kotaro caught her from behind. However, his advantage disappeared the next moment she threw him on the floor like a true pro. Akira got 2 scores. Kotaro lost, but he knew the reason. The girls were astonished. This boy was pretty good. They didn't expect to see a good fight. Well, Akira still was too strong for him. However, there was a reason Akira could lose at any moment. She felt excited after touching her beloved guy. She couldn't hold back her feelings. Akira felt that when Kotaro caught her from behind. She felt his smell so close. She started losing her mind. That was bad and good at the same moment. She didn't even notice Kotaro was trying to talk with her all this time. Akira said she felt a bit strange herself. Then Kotaro touched her shoulder and asked what happened. She was looking red like a tomato. He told her if she feels bad, then she must go to the clinic. He didn't see any reason to fight her if she had a high temperature. Akira realized Kotaro was the best guy she ever knew. Well, they had to fight now, so she tried to enter her serious mode back. Round 2 started. She didn't want to let her emotions take control over her mind. She didn't want to lose. However, when Kotaro touched her hand, she got embarrassed again. It was looking like he tried to do something bad with her. Then she fell on the floor so easily that Kotaro got confused. He couldn't understand what was going on. Kotaro gets 2 scores. The girls were shocked by what they saw. Akira, one of the best fighters they knew, just lost to an unknown boy. Well, she actually fell by herself. Kotaro didn't do anything about it. Akira thought Kotaro defeated her in an honest fight. She had no idea how to continue their match. It was just impossible for her. Akira's level of embarrassment got so high she couldn't do a move. The girls were staring at Akira. They saw her face and realized she was acting really strange, like she's a character from a shoujo manga. Kotaro thought she was losing especially and was mad about that, but at the same time he was glad to know he won the round. At that moment she realized she would die if he would use a wrestling technique on her. But Kotaro didn't care about that at all. Akira asked Kotaro to not stand that close to her. However, Kotaro was going to punish her no matter what she would say. It was the rules of their game. Everyone was watching them, so she got even more embarrassed. He grabbed her body. It was driving her crazy. She apologized for being so rude with him. It made him feel confused. At that moment, Akira stopped understanding what was happening around her. Then Kotaro got tired of her behavior and just grabbed her body. Stretch muffler. Fatality. She was screaming hard, but not from pain. It was just her feelings. Well, Kotaro didn't understand it at all. Then, suddenly, the blonde girl stopped Kotaro. She couldn't watch it anymore. She thought he was humiliating Akira all this time. Kotaro had no bad intentions on her, actually, so he didn't get what she meant by that. The instructor was laughing at them. He liked watching this scene. What a bad man. Then Kotaro told Akira to fight normally. He got really tired of this mess. He didn't want her to fight like this anymore. He wanted to have an honest fight. Then Akira finally got back her morale and told him she wouldn't lose any round. There was blood running from her nose. Despite that, she was ready to fight him. Akira was waiting for Kotaro to attack. Then Kotaro rushed at her and she dodged him. Then she grabbed his body and tried to bring him to the floor, but he was too strong and it was pretty hard to stop him. Then he jumped back and it really surprised Akira. He was in very good form. She underestimated him, but Kotaro didn't want to lose any time and rushed at Akira again. She didn't expect that, so he caught her easily, and that's how Kotaro won another round. Well, it was half-win since he just got her out of the ring. He got 1 score for that. 1 more point and Akira would be punished again. It was really interesting to watch. What would happen next? Then Akira apologized for being unserious. Now she was going to fight him hard. Despite her feelings, she was determined to beat him up no matter what. It was time for a real game. That's what Kotaro was waiting for all this time, and he got what he wanted. He absolutely lost like a total loser. He had 0 chances against a professional fighter. Well, despite her strength, it was hard for her to defeat him. He had improved a lot since their last meeting. Then Kotaro asked her about her long hair. He was wondering if it was good to have long hair while being a professional sportsman. This question made her feel mad. She even had no words to say. Well, Akira decided to stop this conversation and offered to go to the gym. He still didn't get his punishment. She walked out. Kotaro was wondering how quickly her mood changes. Then someone addressed him. It was Miho with her friends. She wanted to ask him about their relationships with Akira. Miho asked him if he knew that Akira actually has a lot of boyfriends. Akira realized she accidentally forgot her bow in the room. She was about to come back but suddenly stopped behind the wall. She saw Miho and girls talking with her beloved Kotaro. What did they want from him? Miho was talking about Akira's bad boyfriends. Akira didn't get what the heck she was talking about. Miho said she saw her with bad boys on bikes. First, she didn't understand what guy she was talking about, but then realized she was talking about her sisters. They actually were girls. They just came to school to take her for a walk, Kami and Maria. Well, they were looking like boys since they had short hair and very men-like bodies because they were professional sportsmen too. Akira was interested in what Kotaro would answer them. It was really interesting. Meanwhile, Kotaro actually was just staring at Miho's strange hairpin that was looking like a Wi-Fi. Miho got angry since she noticed he wasn't listening to her at all. Kotaro said she had such a strange Wi-Fi hairpin, so he forgot what she was talking about. Akira was astonished. Then he said he didn't care about that. All he wanted was to defeat her in an honest fight, and that's all. Even if she was in a bad company, it didn't change anything. Then Miho realized he wasn't interested in Akira. She just got mistaken. Akira realized she was just an opponent for Kotaro. He wasn't thinking about her in other ways, but it was enough for her. All she wanted was to know he wasn't thinking bad about her. But then Kotaro told Miho it wasn't like that. He didn't believe any of Miho's words. Akira was surprised to hear that. Miho started yelling at Kotaro since he had no proof to his words. Well, maybe she really had met with bad guys, but he was sure she couldn't let them do bad things to herself. Then she asked him why he was so sure about that. Kotaro couldn't hold back anymore and shouted out that she just has no time for such stupid things. She is a sportsman. She wouldn't be that good if she wouldn't train hard every day. Moreover, she was really good at maths. So what kind of bad things she was doing with those guys? Maybe Miho was a dumb liar? And yes, during the fight, he saw bruises on her body that were left from her fighting training. This kind of sport is pretty dangerous, so it's obvious she would have a lot of bruises left from her training times. That was enough to prove his words. Then Miho got annoyed by him yelling hard and shouted out he just fell in love with Akira and that's why he was getting mad so hard. But Kotaro entered the Chad mode and said that he is just respectful to Akira and didn't want to let anyone talk trash about her. That was enough to shut her mouth up. Kotaro was about to finish this useless talk, but Miho didn't want to give up. They started yelling at each other hard. Then 30 minutes later, Kotaro came back to the gym. Akira asked her friend to tell Kotaro that he may go home since she wasn't in the mood to punish him today. It looked strange. Why was Akira's friend talking instead of her? Was she felt bad? He came closer to her and touched her shoulder. She was staring at Kotaro. Her sight was really strange. Kotaro still didn't understand what was going on. The girl couldn't watch his stupidity anymore and said straightly that Akira just loved him so much she couldn't look at him normally. Well, Akira didn't want her to say this, so she attacked her immediately. She wanted to say it by herself. Unfortunately, she already told him everything. Akira asked Kotaro to forget about everything her friend said just now. Akira came back to her home. Her sisters, Maria and Kami, were glad to see her, but it seemed that she was in a bad mood. Akira reached out her hands and grabbed them hard. That was unexpected. She told them about the incident that happened to her in school. Everyone thought she was meeting with bad boys, so she asked them to be more womanlike. But there was a problem. Their father. By the way, he entered the room just now. He didn't like the fact Akira still had long hair because he thought it was making her worse as a fighter. She told him to shut up since it was annoying. The man got mad and was going to defeat her in a fight. Akira sighed. That was making her sad. Why had she even done that to herself? Why had she started growing her hair? Well, there was a reason. It happened a long time ago when she was a child. Akira met Kotaro again to friendly mock him. No one girl gave him chocolate today. As always, he didn't like she was making fun of him. Well, he also said that he didn't like any girl in his school, so he didn't feel bad about that. Akira asked him about the type of girls he liked the most. Kotaro was dreaming of Mizuki at that moment, so he said that he liked girls with long hair. What a turn of events. Akira had short hair at that moment. That was sad. She wanted to change everything. Suddenly, her father entered the room and told her it was time to go to the hair salon. She had too long hair, it would be getting in the way during the training. But this time she refused to his surprise. Her father was mad at her behavior. She wouldn't win any matches because of that. But she was determined to save her hair. She told him that she wouldn't lose anymore even with long hair. And if she would lose, then she would erase her hair forever. Father was annoyed by her behavior, but anyway agreed with her conditions. And to everyone's surprise, she hadn't lost any matches after that. What a motivation. And it was just because of Kotaro. If he wouldn't say it that day, she maybe wouldn't get her long hair back. Akira was stronger than her father, who was a fighter too. Akira also was annoyed by Kotaro's stupidity. Did this dumbass really could be that ignorant? Didn't he really have any thought if Akira was growing her hair just for him? Akira wanted to get more rounds from her father, but it seemed that it was enough to defeat him today. It was another nice day. It was a sports festival in the school. Kotaro was here for the first time, so he was ready for everything. He noticed that people were cheering for someone, and they were cheering for Kanai, who won the 100-meter race. There also were Akira and Shigure. They won in other games too. Kotaro was glad they were doing great. Akira came to him and asked if he was staring at her just now. Kotaro asked if she just came here to tell him about her super cool results. Well, no. She just wanted him to praise her for being strong, as well as Kanai and Shigure. Kotaro was surprised how they were acting. It was way different from what they usually do. Then Kanai got closer to Kotaro and fixed his bandage. Akira offered him a glass of water. Shigure gave him a towel to take off his sweat. Wait, what was going on? He didn't understand anything. Well, there was a reason they were acting like that today. It was because his mother was about to come here today. They figured it out from his phone talk with her, so they wanted to look like nice girls in her eyes. It was very important for them. And suddenly, his mother finally appeared here. But she was looking really young and beautiful for his mother. They didn't get what was going on for the first time. Who was this beauty? But then they realized it was his mother. But why was she looking so young? The girls were shocked by her appearance. Then she looked back and saw them. She guessed right, they were her son's girlfriends. Then they started doing their job. Kanai immediately introduced herself as a daughter of a director of a huge corporation named Tsukimi. Wait, was she trying to impress her with status and money? Then Akira introduced herself as a good housewife. Wait, really? That's unfair. Shigeru was just simple. She gave her a chocolate as a gift. That was even more unfair. Suddenly, Kotaro ran up here to stop them, but the girls had some compromise on him. If his mother would find out what he was doing with them, better to not know what would happen. So, he was silent. Kotaro's mother was glad to know they were getting along with him. Kanai said they were in very good relationships with Kotaro. That's unfair, she's a liar. Well, never mind. It was time for Kotaro to participate. He almost forgot about that and immediately rushed towards his place. His mother was also going to watch him from the place for parents. The girls breathed out. It was hard, but they did great. Suddenly they heard boys talk. They were interested in who was talking to their class's beauties just now. They remembered he was a new guy in their school, but it seemed that he wasn't interested in these girls. The girls didn't like the guys talking about Kotaro. It meant that Kotaro was getting extra attention because of them. It wasn't good. Well, anyway, soon they will see his best and will take their words back. It's gonna be a 200 meters race. Kotaro was thinking about how to win. He didn't want to lose. Then someone appeared here. It was Kanai-kun. He offered them to give up right now. His overconfidence was pretty annoying, but the reason he was acting like that was because there was a girl watching him. The guy understood his feelings. He was ready to let him win this race. Well, maybe people won't be happy if they figure out he's cheating. Suddenly, Kotaro heard their talk and bad thoughts filled his mind. He was thinking about his classmates for some reason, and because of that, he lost a lot of time at the start. He hadn't heard the signal. What a failure. But there was no time to blame himself. However, he didn't have many chances to win the race because of that. The girls were shocked. Why was this dumbass doing that bad? The guys started laughing at him. They were angry that he was in friendship with the most popular girls in their school while being such a weak loser. They thought he was a cool guy. What a disappointment. Kotaro was trying to run, but he didn't believe in his win. The girls couldn't watch this mess anymore and told him to stop being a pussy. And after they said that, his morale immediately rose up. He remembered who he was, and like an anime main character, he got a power burst and rushed forward with a supersonic speed. The guys couldn't believe he got closer so quickly. How did he manage to do that? Kanai was trying to run faster, but he had no chances against Kotaro's power of spirit. And in the next moment, he realized that he was behind Kotaro. That was hard to believe. At the last moment, he takes the first place. Kotaro Hinode is the best. And at that moment, all the guys were going to take their words back. He was way stronger than they expected from him. But the girls knew he couldn't lose. They were sure about that from the beginning. However, their happiness suddenly disappeared when they realized that Kotaro's mother heard them screaming it shouldn't have to happen. Kanai was ready for three-legged racing. She was going to run, and there was her friend Sumiko. She was a very shy person. She seemed to be ready too. However, there was a problem. Kanai was acting like she's gone crazy. Every time Kanai was talking about her beloved boy Kotaro, Sumiko was familiar with him a bit. He was her classmate. But she didn't get why Kanai was dreaming of him that much. He was just a simple boy. Then Kanai told Sumiko that they can't run together since every team must consist of a boy and a girl. It meant Sumiko needed to find a boy to run with. She had a bit of extra weight, so when she was running, well, she thought it wouldn't look good, so she was trying to avoid any kind of sports because of that. And that was the reason she wanted to avoid this race too. Then the teacher came here to say that her partner got a trauma, so he cannot run with her. What a failure. She thought she got a chance to drop from the race. However, the teacher found another partner for her. Guess who it was? Right, Kotaro-kun, the fastest guy in the school. Sumiko was shocked, as well as Kanai. First, this guy was the type of person she had problems with the most. Second, there was Kanai, her best friend, and she was in love with Kotaro. What would she think of her? Other girls wanted to participate with Kotaro too, however, he refused since he already had a partner. The girls were mad because of that. Well, to our surprise, Kanai was the most calm person here. Sumiko wasn't sure the race would end well for them. She asked Kotaro if he really wanted to run with her. She was downplaying herself really hard, so Kotaro didn't like it and told her to calm down. He started speaking like a true coach. If you can run, then you must run no matter what happens. Then he told her to follow him to train until the race. The girls were jealous of Sumiko. Kotaro looked really serious. Meanwhile, Kotaro and Sumiko started training. First time it looked pretty useless. Sumiko couldn't do a single step without falling down. She was so sorry for that. Well, he realized it wouldn't end well if they would continue in the same way. Sumiko was blushing hard. Why wouldn't he just drop her? It would be better for her. Then suddenly Kotaro addressed Sumiko. He offered her to run at their full speed. He figured out why she was running that bad. It was only because she couldn't believe in herself and was afraid of what others would think about her. She agreed it was true. Everyone had been laughing at her trying to run when she was at mid-school. So, Kotaro told her to stop making excuses. If she just would try normally, she would do that. Kotaro told her to forget about everything and just run as fast as she can. He didn't want to wait anymore and they started running. First it was hard, but then Sumiko got his tempo. Wait, what? How did she manage to do that? It was surprisingly good. She didn't expect it to go that well. Kotaro was doing his job very well so she could run normally without falling down. She realized she felt strange after running. She never had been running so fast. Kotaro smiled and looked at her. Well done. It was pretty good for their first run. Well, even if she was doing it a bit strange, she did it way better than before. He said that it was because of her training after school lessons. Wait, how did he know about that? Well, Kotaro knew about that just because they were in the same class. He saw her trying hard after school, and of course he couldn't ignore the fact that the most shy person in the class was trying so hard to get good. Well, she had problems, but it was still good. And if she was trying so hard, then they should try their best to take first place. Sumiko was still a bit worried if it was a nice idea, but Kotaro was determined to win the race. Meanwhile, the girls were watching them. Sumiko at that moment realized why Kanai loved Kotaro so much. This day changed her mind. The girls noticed there was a strange atmosphere between Kotaro and Sumiko. It wasn't good for them. Sumiko didn't know what to do. She felt uncomfortable and embarrassed because everyone was watching her. And then she looked aside and saw the girls' evil sights. Then Kotaro asked Sumiko to get closer to him. That was bad. He grabbed her waist. She felt really strange and the girls started looking at her like they were possessed by demons. The instructor told everyone to get prepared for the race. Kotaro told Sumiko to get ready and then start. However, Sumiko failed and they fell down. What a bad turn of events. But Kotaro knew it was his fault. He hadn't told her from what leg they should have started running, but he still wanted to win. Sumiko realized she should stop thinking only about herself. She must run as if it was the last moment of her life. The boys were surprised. They saw Sumiko's jumping melons. That's epic, but why did no one notice that before? Were her melons even bigger than Kanai's? Well, it wasn't. Kanai had checked it before. However, Sumiko was hiding her trump card all this time. Maybe it may have a better effect on the boys. And Kotaro was a boy too. It's bad. It was too late, but Sumiko realized she was doing wrong all this time. She shouldn't be that shy. She shouldn't care about how people look at her. Now she forgot about everything. She became a different person. Finish. That was hard, but they did that. Sumiko asked what place they took. Unfortunately, it was the last place. So bad, they both realized they were total losers in this race. Kotaro felt this humiliating feeling that was driving him crazy. He didn't want to let it happen again in future. He was going to train more to win next time. Sumiko was sad that Kotaro lost because of her. If she would have run better. She accidentally looked at his leg and noticed there was blood. He got injured after falling down at the start. She was trying to apologize. It was only her fault he got this wound. But Kotaro said she shouldn't care about his loss. He didn't feel as bad as she thought. Anyway, their training was important. It wasn't useless at all. And then she understood what kind of person he was. He was way different from any boy she had ever known. Kanai came closer to her and saw her face was getting red. Sumiko got scared that Kanai appeared so unexpectedly from nowhere. She thought she fell in love with Kotaro from the first glance. Well, she knew why it happened. Kotaro was a cool guy. Sumiko tried to make an excuse since it wasn't like that. But anyway, she warned her that if they will become opponents, she won't spare her. Then Kanai ran up to Kotaro to help him with his wound. Sumiko thought about Kanai's words. She felt something she had never felt before. Now she realized what those three felt when looking at Kotaro. Later, Mizuki-kun came to the festival too. He was thinking of Sumiko. He was trying to figure out who actually was the VTuber Fumi-chan, the one that was Kotaro's beloved. He thought that Sumiko may be the person that was staying behind Fumi-chan's image, but well, it sounded ridiculous. She was too shy to be a VTuber. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Let me know if you enjoyed it by pressing the like button and leaving a comment with your opinion. Use the word "give" in your comment, it's important for me. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you later.